Hey guys, welcome to another Bay Equity Ultimate Edge webinar series. We'll get it started right with Glen Smart, the smartest guy I know in the reverse mortgage industry, because Glen is the vice president of our reverse mortgage division. So when we have questions about reverse mortgages, you might understand that we reach out to Glen and he helps us out. He helps out with clients. He helps us out with all kinds of things. And today we're going to focus on a couple things. It so happens that Glen is in Nashville, Tennessee. He's been there for a few days now at the National Reverse Mortgage Lenders Association convention. Did I get that right, Glen?
You did very well.
All right. And so I know he's learned some stuff, which we have not heard from him yet. We're going to leave some space at the end of the webinar for that. And if anybody has any questions, please put those into the chat and we'll be able to ask Glen. But to start with, the theme of this particular presentation was going to be myths and misconceptions with reverse mortgages. And so, Glen, I have some questions some people reached out to me with, and I just want to pepper you with some questions here, and you can tell us if it's a myth, misconception, or fact.
Absolutely.
The lender takes the home. That's one of the most common questions I get. Does the lender own the home with a reverse mortgage?
Does the lender own the home? So the best way I can describe that and answer that is a reverse mortgage is a mortgage. It's nothing more exotic. Folks are not selling their house. They're not giving us the house. It's a mortgage loan. And just like with any other mortgage loan, if our borrower passes away, the lender doesn't automatically get the house. It goes to their estate, just like it would with any other mortgage transaction. So no, we do not automatically get the house in any way, shape, or form. Just a mortgage lien against it.
Okay. Well, the converse side of that is one of the people asked, what is in it for the lender? Why did they do reverse mortgages? How did they make their money?
Well, I assure you that there is something in it for the lender. Okay, so this is a HUD insured program. There is interest on this loan. It's like any other mortgage loan. The difference is that the senior doesn't have to make monthly mortgage payments. Instead, that interest is accruing. It's being added back. And the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, has insured that entire mortgage. So we are assured that we will get the money back, unlike most other mortgages.
So it's a pretty sure thing in our case for that reverse mortgage.
Pretty solid, yeah.
All right. So I understand, well, I get this question a lot, that these are really expensive loans, Glen. Is that true? And over time, how does that play out? And what's the answer to that, please?
Well, it's a relative answer. So there are a couple of types of reverse mortgage. There's the HUD insured program, and that is the more popular one. That does have some upfront costs. HUD charges their insurance fees. They're not out of pocket, but they are certainly rolled into the loan. There are also some private or proprietary reverse mortgages that don't have that upfront cost. So the closing costs can vary wildly, and candidly, it will depend upon the type of loan that the senior chooses to take. We're going to show them all the options. They're going to tell me which one they want. But like any loan, a HUD insured reverse mortgage is not meant to be taken and held for a short period of time. And we use special disclosures that show that. You know, if you took the reverse mortgage and held it for this long, here's effectively what it cost you to borrow the money. And it's never a good idea to take it for a short period of time.
Which is true of most loans, guys. They're expensive costs up front. So if you keep them for a long time, it kind of amortizes out over time and it's not so expensive. All right, Glen.
I like to tell people, by the way, compare the reverse mortgage cost to every other loan you don't have to make a monthly mortgage payment on for 40 years. And there just isn't one. Yeah.
Good point on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand what happened. You were alluding to this earlier. What happens with the heirs? Some people think that the heirs lose complete control of the home, and once the senior is out of the home for whatever reason, that the lender now takes the home and gets all of the equity in the home. Is that true, Glen?
Just like any loan that you do, John, if the senior passes away, the lender doesn't get the property. You don't get that property. The house will go to the estate. If there's a reverse mortgage on it, the reverse mortgage servicing company will reach out and ask the heirs what they intend to do. And the heirs need to respond somewhat promptly, but then they have up to 6 months to do something about refinancing or selling. They want to respond right away, but they still have months to act. And if they're not done clearing probate or selling the house or refinancing it through you, they can get up to 2-3 month extensions. There's the airport behind me there. So they'll get up to 2-3 month extensions so that they've got plenty of time to do something with the property. They just need to act sooner rather than later in doing that.
Right. Okay. We know that if you have not seen previous videos we've done with Glenn, I would encourage you to go and listen to them. He's going to talk about how the reverse mortgage works and the benefits for the senior and some of the cons and everything. And in particular, the counseling session is going to be part of the discussion there. So the senior is going to get counseled prior to ever going forward with the loan application, guys. And one of the people I was talking to, Glenn, asked me, do the heirs ever participate in that counseling?
That's entirely up to our senior. So the only folks that cannot participate in the seniors counseling would be members of Bay Equity. The lender can't participate, but the senior can take family members, friends, attorneys, neighbors, whomever they want. It's really going to be up to them. We just can't join that. Independent.
Okay. And for the purpose of this webinar, can you describe what the counseling session is all about? What happens there for the senior?
So the counselor's job is to make sure the senior really understands the program. And we like to tell people, when you go to counseling, you're not going to learn anything new. I should have done my job in advance. You should understand how the program works. The counselor is going to make sure that there's a good understanding of that. They're going to make sure the senior understands completely that they're responsible for paying the property taxes and insurance going forward, right? And they'll talk about when the loan might come due and payable, and they'll go through all aspects of that. Candidly, part of what the counselor is doing is helping us determine whether or not the senior is competent. You might imagine that sometimes with older seniors, they're facing competency issues. And believe it or not, you don't have to be competent. We just have to know if you're not. There are additional safeguards that HUD will put in place and allow for the senior's care to be funded that way.
Okay, good. And is it true, Glenn, that once the senior gets the reverse mortgage, they have no payments of any kind? Is that true?
Well, let's not say it quite that way. They have no required monthly mortgage payments. Because the senior still owns the house, they're responsible for paying their property taxes. They need to pay their insurance and homeowners association dues, but they have no required monthly mortgage payments on the loan. Technically speaking, a reverse mortgage has one payment at the very end when it's paid in full.
And in addition to that, guys, the senior is responsible for maintenance of the house. So paying the taxes, paying the insurance, and maintaining the house are the three responsibilities that they have there. Glenn, it seems like that this loan is just designed to take advantage of seniors. That's some of the comments that we've heard. How would you respond to that, please?
Yeah, I hear that. And there's a perception, typically that perception is rooted in not fully understanding how the program works. And what I would encourage folks to do is to look at a reverse mortgage proposal package and look at the educational materials that we share, and we share all of that up front.
Boy, do we.
Pamphlets from the National Council on Aging that give a good high-level overview. We give specifics as to the senior based on their age and other factors. We show them how that loan's going to change over time. But I think often there's a thought that reverse mortgages are only for people who have a need for it. You know, you can't make your monthly payments. You're not able to buy food, and it's not that program. They can certainly help folks that have that need. But more and more high net worth individuals are using it for retirement planning and backstopping their portfolios. So it's got a much broader use than most people understand. And when you look at it and say over 1 million people so far have taken a reverse mortgage, I think you'll get a better understanding that it's not just a small little program that takes advantage of people. It's anything but that.
Very good. Glenn, I know that you're just now out of the conference you've been at for a few days, and so maybe you could update us with anything you may have learned, any changes in the reverse mortgage industry?
If you look behind me, you see the airport check-in desk at Nashville. I quite literally am fresh out of the Uber from that conference. And over the last couple of days, the FHA commissioner has spoken. HUD counseling agencies have spoken about their role. Ginnie Mae, the Government National Mortgage Association president, was there to speak about their role. A lot of exciting technical things that I won't bore anybody with, except that they're enhancements to the program. We had some great conversations with our investor partners about streamlining processes and making it even easier. But from the podium, the FHA commissioner announced some changes to the reverse mortgage purchase program. And these are long overdue. We've been looking for these since 2009. And we are now allowed to have seller concessions or lender concessions on a reverse mortgage purchase something we've been trying for years. The commissioner received a standing ovation from the people in the room. It's that impactful. Yeah. So folks can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a new primary residence. And as I said, the president of Ginnie Mae was there to talk about how the government support is there for the program and what they're doing to ensure that the liquidity is there, so the program continues to help the seniors. It's exciting information. Yeah,
that is good. That's about as fresh off the press as we could possibly get here. You in the airport on that, Glen.
You got it.
Guys, we have a whole webinar that we did with Glen sometime earlier. You can check that out on our YouTube channel or ask us for a recording of it that talks to the real estate agents in the group about reverse mortgages for purchases. So if you're interested in how to use that a little deeply than we're talking about now, feel free to check out that video. But that's a great change, a great addition to the program, allowing for seller concessions. Is it the same seller concession amount that the regular FHA loan uses, Glen?
6%, just as the traditional forward FHA loans, yes.
Okay, good to know.
That's a great tool.
Any other late breaking, interesting stuff that you may want to share with us?
There are some proprietary or private reverse mortgages that have been in the marketplace for the last several years. There were some enhancements. I was speaking to the investors that are coming out that will make that program even more competitive with HUD's program. So when we look at, what are the upfront costs, I'm pretty jazzed. I come to this session every year, and this was the most energized I think I've been after a session, and excited to implement these changes that are there.
Now, guys, if Glen is jazzed about getting out of a mortgage seminar that's taken him 3 or 4 days of his life, that's really a good sign that things are positive there. So thanks for that, and we appreciate it.
You bet.
I see some comments here. The thank you for the information is really cool. We appreciate that, guys. Anything else for closing here, Glen, that you want to share with us?
Expand your horizon about reverse mortgage. If you think it helps just this small segment, talk to us about that. And if you're talking to clients or other folks about reverse mortgage and you're not comfortable, bring us into that conversation. That's what we're there for. I like to tell people they don't even need to tell me their name. If they want to make up a name, that's great. Just remember what it is. So later when we go back to it, but I'm here to answer questions and educate. And then if it's the right fit, it'll show us that, it'll show you that, and we'll move it at your speed. So however we can help. Good.
Very good. Well, yeah, I will tell you that we're going to get to know you and your name first, and we're going to do our best as loan officers and with our branch and company to help you understand reverse mortgages. And then, as you see from Glen here, he's available almost anytime. He's suggested more than once that he would be on a video call just like this with myself and the senior. And you can ask all the questions you want and have the smartest guy in the room available along with myself to answer those questions for you. Thanks, Glen, for your time once again. Always appreciate it very much. And I know in the middle of the Nashville airport. So thanks again for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, always. Bye. Thanks, guys.